I think we're alone now. Right, that background music is it's the relaxing afternoon music. It reminds me a little bit of my favorite theme song, Young and the Restless. Just a little bit, you know. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I knew it was the reason I love that song. Hello, good people. Hello, good people. Hope everybody is safe and doing good. I hope if you are being affected directly by this pandemic and COVID-19 situation that we are going through, that whatever you believe in carries you through the night and the day, and everybody that you love is safe and out of harm's way. Welcome you guys to the show. I am your host, Richard Clemens. This is Bipolar in Cleveland. This is on the TNC network. If you know the name, I don't have to explain. I'm going to be your host for the duration for about an hour. I think I got it down to about an hour. Subjects today. What are we going to talk about? It's been a minute, so I have to recap. This is why I don't want to go too long in between shows, right? Because I don't stop writing, you know, and things move on and more people have died, you know, since the last time I wanted to say something that was on my mind. So with that being said, we're going to get this show started. We're going to talk about Bootsy and his IG live stuff, and also he was on Breakfast Club today, I guess, you know, on a online interview that they do now. There's one, We Are GP, Never Ignorant, Getting Goals Accomplished. We're also going to be talking about natural selection, right? So, you know, they say that we come from monkeys and it's all about, you know, the lizard brain and all this other stuff, you know. So let's talk about Darwin and the natural selection. Not too much about Darwin, you know, just about the impact and the legacy that these people believe in now, you know, and how they conduct their business to other people according to these rules that they have put out into the atmosphere. So until I come back, you stay right there. I'm going to let you know who I am with this beautiful theme song. It's not going nowhere. It's a theme song. That's what it do. It makes the theme. I'm the bad guy. I'm the villain of the story. Pages turning. I'm the star of the movie. What you was afraid of, the reason that you worry. Cause I'm the bad guy. I'm the villain of the story. I'm the bad guy. Villain of the story. Pages turning. I'm the star of the movie. What you was afraid of, the reason that you worry. I'm the bad guy. I'm the villain of the story. Cut that shit off. Yes, get to the... Well, until they can hear the third verse, I'm not going to give it to them. So, right. You know, been writing for days. You know, I had a guest last time I made a show. The last thing that you guys heard was me and my old time friend having a conversation about many different things. I said I was going to give you part 2, but that would not be happening. We talked about an array of things and, you know, a lot of personal things on his behalf, you know, which I appreciate. I mean, it's like, this is what we do anyway. We just keep it real. And so the thing about the whole thing was, instead of me being, you know, getting my DJ Vlad on and just sitting back listening and, you know, asking a question once in a while and, you know, feeding the conversation that way, because it was, you know, for whatever reason, you know, he wanted to talk. You know, I hadn't seen him in a long time, you know, and maybe he has been listening to my show. So, you know, I've been talking. He's been listening. So when he come to see me, it's his turn to talk. You see what I'm saying? But it was like, you know, we always go back and forth, and in agreement, for the most part. I don't let him finish, he don't let me finish, and the thing is like, but it's more like head shaking, it's like, yeah, and then, once the person, you get it, then you just move on to something else, or you let them say what they gotta say. But it's more like, I get it, and so, that's not seen over, or could be, seen right over the radio or over, the podcast, and me being closer to the mic, right? So it sounds like I'm yelling, and he sounds calm, cool, collected, which he is always. But it's just it's we talked about a lot of different things. So like I cut things, I stopped it sometimes, then I started it again. The continuity, the second half of the conversation, we went into some other deep stuff, and like after listening to it, a few times. It's been a couple of days since I listened to it now, but when initially, I understand what he was trying to get to, and I didn't let him get there, because it was something for me, but it was something for him also to, tell somebody, some stuff that he don't tell nobody, because like I said, like, we are alike. And so he don't really talk to people like that and fuck with people, and people don't fuck with him. But, it's, and so, we reminisced and we talked about all the old stuff, stuff like that. And we caught up a little bit of how, how his progression has gone, with his kids, with his, his life and things like that, his parents and things like that, because I think that was a big part of, what he was trying to say is about, understanding, his God and his dog, his mother and father, and, these things that happen between them, and it's like, it's like with your father, you understand him, but you don't agree with him. But then at the same time, it's like you didn't make, a whole lot of better decisions, yourself. I mean, I'm just speaking for me, so it's always that, cause like a good question was like, who do you have, more, animosity towards, and that was the wrong word, but like, between your mother or father, and he said his father, and it's like, but like, that's the guy that we all grew up, that's who raised them. And it's like me having like, not having that type of relationship with my father, or not my father being around like that. I always looked up to Mr. Edom, as, just a stern father that wanted, that took care of his kids and things like that, So I don't want to talk too much about it because he's not here. And like, I dissected the episode. And so, and, I don't want to talk too much about that, like that part, it's like analyzing him within the situation and stuff like that. He's going to be back. I hope, my nigga be back. So, we can, I'll get my DJ Vlad on next time. But anyway, the thing was when he came by, in another picture of my narcissism and psychopathic ways and mine, is that he came by to validate me, to say that you're not alone. My nigga. But like, because like he was we was recording, he knew what we was recording. So, like, the things that he was saying, like these things get put out, there. But like, I've been putting my shit out there for months now. So, he didn't have, he was saying like, nigga, you my nigga. And like, the stuff that you've been going through, or stuff that you think about, I think about the same things, or, this has been going on with me, we never quite got to, that area all over, you know what I mean? But I get it, you know what I'm saying? So it was, like I said, validation, you know what I'm saying? My God and my dog be listening, and it's the funny, right? This is the reason I wanted to talk about it a little bit. right, because I had notes on it. I had a whole long speech on everything and how shit broke down, but I ain't, like I'm just, right, shut up. So I'm just, getting too far into stuff. But what I was going to say is that, so ironically, the same day that my dude, that Joe came over and did the show with me, I get into this finger thing on Facebook with punk ass George in Texas. This nigga is talking about, I'm gonna make you make a show about me. Not gonna happen, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's girl shit. That's this whole thing I be talking about, But the thing is this. So, we're going back and forth now. So he done said that right. So him and the white boy, right? It's like, I'm telling you, this happened all in the same day. Okay. So him and the white boy that I got into it, they want to call me a racist and all that other stuff. Him and the Canadian and the homosexual from San Francisco, rice-a-roni treat. But, I was on my Podbeam app, looking at who's live shows and stuff, and just clicked in there for a second to, listen to what they be talking about, because they don't never talk about shit, you know what I'm saying? So as soon as I clicked in, they gonna be like, they remember me, of course, and they like, oh, right, because I bet you I got them one of their best rating shows ever, you know what I'm saying? Because they immediately, recorded it and put it out and blasted me like some type of racist. And I do have a rebuttal. I came up with an ingenious rebuttal, but not right now. So as soon as I click in, they want to sit up there and start talking about me, and I'm like, okay. And then, right, because they're going to say, oh, that's why my show has so many followers and yours only has so. It's like, how do you know my show sucks if you don't listen to it, Right, and I still think you following me. Like, how do you, like, because I was trying to see, because I tried to unfollow them, it's like, but they seem like they still following me. Like, I don't know how that stuff works. But anyway, so while this is going on, around this time period, this dude down in Texas, Steers and Queers, I ain't know they stack shit that high. He down there, cause I put up, oh, right. I put up like a coming soon, I was like, episode coming soon. My dude Joe coming over. We're going to talk. We're going to kick it, such, or it was like after he left and, I was, trying to put the episode together, stuff like that. Right. And so this dude, so like, don't nobody want to listen to your show. It sucks. It's hot garbage and la. And so, go back, like I say a couple of things, but like I just referenced the part about being a girl, because like only girls, talk like that. And so, he want to get more and more foul at the mouth and things like that, and so, like, and it's like the type of person that's not right. Cause I said, like, you wouldn't say that shit in my face. Go in your mouth. He's like, you put your hands on me, I'll shoot you. He said that shit from 1,500 miles away. Like, okay. So, but the thing about, reason I'm saying that is cause he started saying some crazy stuff on Facebook, I guess, and they, kicked his ass off for a couple of days. You know what I mean? Then he gonna go, my Instagram and blame to I reported him. like, there you go with that girl stuff again. Like, why would I report you? It's like, I mean, it's just like a whole bunch of, like a whole bunch of, but like the thing was, right, it initiated, and then he goes and do some more girl stuff and say that, to some other people we know, talking about, I started it, or I'm sneak dissing. That's what he called it. I'll be sneak dissing them and stuff like that. Cause I guess, he put up some crazy, like, right. Y'all, okay. I think this girl stopped talking to me because I went off on what women put up on Facebook all the time, repetitively, all the time, right? And so I think she stopped talking to me because I went hard. And so when it's a man doing these same type of things that I see, you see what I'm saying? I say certain things, And so I think he took offense to some of the things that I be saying and took this opportunity where I wasn't even saying shit to him. Talk about, don't nobody want to listen to your show. It sucks and sucks and And so one thing leads to another. And like I said before, I guess they kicked his ass off for a couple of days, had nothing to do with me, Buddhist, man. But, so, while that was going on, I'm listening to the show, that I did with Joe, it was like, it's like an hour and a half. Like, y'all only got like 30 minutes of it, it's like, so it's an hour and a half of us talking and, things like that. So it's a lot of, intimate things that came out, and it's like I said before, what he said to me was like, nigga, you always had a plan, and I appreciate that more than anything else, out of the whole thing. It's like, just like I said before, him knowing, or saying like, I know you got a plan, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know this ain't just, crazy shit to be talking crazy for no reason. And so, I appreciate that part, like I said before, because, like Joe Budden said, he said about other people, about creators and things like that, or I think he said Tiana Taylor said it also, or something like that. But it's like, or in Kanye West, like when people like me are kind of weird, okay, and very, like, as a man, I'm very emotional, okay. Women are sensitive; they don't got many emotions, okay. Men understand that. Men are the emotional ones. But anyway, so, and as a creative, like the emotion is heightened, like, or that empath and that, what did you say? And I heard this and I put this together and all that type of stuff, you know what I mean? And it's like, this is a person that knows that, that's me. And so, at the same time, I'm up here bumbling and fumbling, through all of this, I do have that plan, and it's like somebody, gets it, that's all, and always have, like this dude, actually, Joe Elam, right? Like, told y'all I've been making music forever, right? If I would have left it with him, he probably still have it, but he had a tape that I made of a song, 2 songs, I think, right? 2 songs, over my brother's house, like, within about, it was like, I was getting better, but it was like about an hour. It was like 30 minutes. I don't even know. He put the beats on, you know what I'm saying? He did it, made the beats, whatever. I said something, made it like, it was like almost like a freestyle, like one of my first time. I just made it right then and there. And so anyway, we used to play it over his house, you know what I'm saying? And most people were like, that's shit garbage. Get it out of here. But anyway, like somehow I left it over his house for years. You know what I mean? Like 3-4 years. And like, one day, we sitting at our house, when we all lived together, and he pops out this damn tape, with my songs on there. And right, and it got played every fucking day for the longest. Oh man, right, but that's the type of dude he is, you know what I'm saying? So once again, he has come by and, no, I didn't mean to boo that. He has come by. Pose a cheer for that. I would play that more often, but the shit is so damn loud and so long. I mean, it's too long, I want a little bit more cheering and less booing, but, it is what it is. That's the name of the show. So, but anyway, that was a favor done for me. And, like I said before, with all that, like I said, about being emotional and being, like when people, people could be negative and things like that. And, it's not like, I don't know, my show sucks, George. So fuck you. again, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's like, the bigger picture, right? What's the plan? You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's like, when you get grown, you know, the plans cost money, you know what I mean? So, you know, I am investing, right? Brought this damn new computer, and I swear I am trying, I'm trying to keep up with technology. With this Windows 10, it's kicking my ass. It's kicking my ass. I don't know what to do, you know? Oh my gosh. Audacity, you got this, you got that. Right. And so I'm right back here, you know what I'm saying, recording on this damn Chromebook I hate to death. And they be listening to me, and they all in it, you know. And I think it's the guy, like, I got to do my website. I don't trust, like, how you, it's like, because I never changed the passcodes and stuff like that. I'm like, how do I know you ain't going to be in my, you know, in my internet and stuff like that and listening and watching me? Like, I'm only going to say, I'm not going to do that. Like, you way over there, you know? Like, I want an in-house, you know, web designer. I need an in-house web designer. Somebody local, you know, come by. Let me see what you're doing, you know? Come up with the ideas on the spot. I'm good at that shit. So, moving on. That's all I got to say about that. I appreciate my dude coming by. I appreciate, right, because I wasn't, I'm not reading right from my notes, people. I have two, right. And so, right. So after that interview, and I guess, you know, I don't know how it goes, or however, I guess some people seen, a couple of my dudes seen, you know, the pre thing. I don't know what is it called. I don't know why I can't think of the word right now, but you know, the preview or the announcement of the show, you know, coming soon. This such and such guest is coming, you know. So anyway, I got a couple of texts from a couple of different people. See what I'm saying? These people don't know that they texted me, you know, to inquire about the same thing. So get a text from my dude Antoine, and he said, you know, when you gonna put me on the show? I'm like, you know, I said I was gonna call him. I ain't call him because I had to dissect this whole episode and everything in the context of what's going and what I want to do. You know, like, do I want to get better? Because he sounds so much better on the show, you know, making his points that I did. It's like, all I know how to say is know what I'm saying. Say a couple words, know what I'm saying again. So anyway, you know, like, so Antoine say, you know, he want to come on the show. I have texted him since then, you know, try to see if we're going to, you know, whenever we want to set up a time, you know, because I figured out how I'm going to do my interviews. So then I get a call from Reverend Dirt, a co-founder of TMC from Sandusky, Ohio, talking about, you know, when he want to do his interview. Well, it takes him a while to get around the shit, you know. He won't act crazy at first and, you know, talk all this stuff, and then, you know, what he comes out with is, when I'm gonna do the show? You know, I want to talk, I want to say this, I got something to say, and this and this and that, you know. And so, like, these people, so I have these upcoming guests for you guys coming soon to a listenership to you, platforms, iHeart, all major platforms. We are there, we are on there. Right. Everybody listen on Facebook for the most part. Like, I need to get my app people up, you know what I'm saying? I got like 10 people from about 10 different platforms, but it's cool. Excuse me. Buddhist, man. Tell you I get to laughing, boy. I get congested. Should be funny. So moving on to Bootsy, right? So they, I guess he be having the strippers on there, you know. They having IG live parties like everybody's, you know, online. All the celebrities, all the wannabe celebrities, you know, have DJ battles. Now they're going to have verse for verse battles. You got Tory Lanez. He got kicked off of IG because all the strippers and stuff like that. being naked. So I guess he supposed to tone it down a little bit. So they gonna let him go, and do it. His IG, I guess, is actually sponsored. It's like 300,000 people tune in. That's a whole TV show for a person. And then Boosie, he be having his show at his little mini mansion. And he got kicked off IG, but I guess he supposed to be trying to clean it up also. And then he's talking about the stuff that he said about Dwayne Wade's son. Then cost him some money, because people don't want to, be, associated, with the misogynistic and homophobic, things that he was saying, which was true. And he's like, and I stand by it. He's like, I don't want to talk about it. He's like, but I meant what I said. I meant what I said, Charlamagne. That nigga is real. I mean, that's, like to use him, right, as a jump off about like people that keep it, people that speak, real. Some dude put some type of, right. I can't remember my dude. Oh, right. What is it? Two Broke Fitness. I gotta give a shout out to my dude, but he sent me this video of a dude telling the story of the truth and a lie, and about, I guess, they was swimming and lie stole the truth clothes, while he was in the pool and ran off. And, when truth go to chase down lie, he's running around butt naked, chasing a lie. And all the people, all they see is the lie dressed up, in a nice suit, that belongs to the truth. And so the people let the lie into the house because the truth, seems crazy. The butt naked truth seems crazy, running around, chasing the lie. And so over time, people believe the well-dressed lie instead of the butt naked truth. So people like Boosie, and then, people to a certain degree, like, Mike Tyson, Ab and Preach, that one, Amanda Seals, to a certain degree, from a girl's point of view, that's how she speaks, it's like the only thing men don't get to speak, from their total heart. It's always, we got to take in consideration of, the girl's feelings or your mama's feelings, or how would your daughter think about it and things like that. It's like, it's never just from the standpoint of being a man. White men get to do it, but black men don't get to do the shit. But my point is, like, even the state of the culture, today, they had a very good show, with Joe Buttons and Remy Ma, right? She's another one that keeps it real. I like her. Ebony, she a lawyer, and, Jinx, he's smart also. Very intelligent, young man. But like, they have very good show today, on just some, like, cause Ebony be on that, for us type of stuff, and Remy on it, and Jinx is like, he's starting to understand what they be talking about, like what I'm saying is, like, it's other people out there like me. There are like-minded people, and I have to take that in mind and take that into consideration, and try to get my point across a little bit more clear, because like Boosie, he say what he say, but he speak this truth, and it's like, this is more needed, it's like I said, as one, we are GP. It's only 50 million of us, and if they haven't declared war, it's already here, people. It's, the rules are not the same for us, in situations like this. And so, we must stick together. And like, black people are talking about, this is why your ancient, knowledge and history and stuff like that comes into play, because black people talking about this is good, or this could be a good thing. After this, people will be more appreciative, and you'll love people here more, and you'll hug people. And boo, no, none of this shit is gonna happen. What's going, until we change our mind states, it's like I said, black people are, they want to put up, oh, we all, we down the most and this and that. And all that's going to do is agitate us. All that is going to do is have more ignorance, flame the fire, of fear. Like I said before, you want zombies, right? Give them fear. And now all this, everybody's concentrating on how the black people are being treated in this situation. Everybody want to care about us when we fucking, when it's something bad, and we are the primary, recipients, of some bad stuff. I hate all these damn HIV commercials, and showing gay black dudes all the fucking time. I don't get it. But anyway, it's now, they're 80% more likely, 70% more likely because of these underlying conditions. And in this state of Michigan, they only make up this portion of the people. In Louisiana, they make up, this portion. But right, they always keep all the niggas in the middle. You know what I'm saying? You are right. Y'all guys don't get the point about enslavement, right? Slave is what they call you. What you are is enslaved, a prisoner of war. You know what I mean? So if you call yourself the same thing that they call you, you know what I mean? And nigga is not the same. Okay. That's why it's a made up word. We made it up. Never ignorant again goes accomplished is the defining definition on top of it. But anyway, if you call yourself a slave, then you are a slave. But if you are enslaved, then right. It's I've been there. It's a fence. You know what I'm saying? Fence ain't that tall. Fence ain't that, it ain't that thick. You know what I'm saying? You can see the other side. You can see the whole world out there, but they got a little barbed wire right there on the bottom, on the top. They got some guards. They walk around. Ain't no guns around. Ain't nothing. Nothing like that. Gate open every day, back and forth, anytime. 50 dudes want to rush the gate, keep it open. It might start getting some shots fired. But 2,500 people, or 1,000 people that they have in these prisons, it's not going to stop all those people. But don't nobody go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody go nowhere. Everybody chill. You just chill. You just, you do your time. Don't let the time do you. Right. And so anyway, like Westworld, simulation within a simulation. So you sit out here, all the black people are in the city, what they would call the inner city, right? On the outskirts of the suburbs and all this, you have these, these other people, it's like Garfield, right? I can't understand why black people just kept on moving to Garfield. I mean, they didn't told them, they didn't infiltrated all the suburbs, the medium-sized suburbs, they ain't out there in Pepper Pike yet, but Shaker Heights, and there's only a portion of these, even the suburbs part that, that you can get into so far, but a portion of, Garfield Heights, is like that now, but they so racist, they so prejudiced, it's I don't understand how y'all, always keep on messing with these folks, but it's if you ain't doing nothing wrong, then they ain't got no reason. It's boo. They stop you because they want to stop you, and my whole point is we catching it, in this COVID and all this other stuff because we are in the middle. We are in the middle of the states and all these places, or concentrated in one portion of the state, more than any other. You have a concentration of where you are, if you are even in that state in a significant number, being black, you are concentrated in a one area place. You know what I mean? So if in this place is concentrated with you, then it's going to your numbers are going to be higher, and it's not proportion to the state, or it's any higher than the state overall because you only make up this portion. It's like it's 90% of y'all are in this area. So out of that 90% in that area, who has it and who, and things like that, that's a better number. Now they want to try to separate, you see what I'm saying, the testing facilities and things like that. We need to have separate, testing facilities because, they're being affected this way and they're being affected this way. I mean, not by the disease, but how you contract it or, your availability to it and things like that. But it's like this, the antibodies, we want to test you, you know what I'm saying? What are you putting stuff in, take a little bit in, take a little, put a little bit in, take a little bit out, and stuff like that. And so the bigger picture comes into part. It's like, it's like even having the flu shot, right? You have the flu. And so if you're testing people, what are you putting into them, or the flu shot is a cure. I'm sorry, but it still gives you the flu. And then, a certain percentage of people still get the flu, and so when they come up with this, I'm jumping here. When they come up with this vaccine, you see what I'm saying? They talking about 1%, Bill Gates talking about 1% fatality. That's 700 million people. But I'm thinking in anything, even at the best thing, from 90 to 100 is an A, you know what I'm saying? You get a 95 to 100, that's an A plus, right? 100 is just perfect, but tests are not meant for, you to get 100 out of 100 or anything that for it to work, you know what I'm saying? Doesn't have to be 100. So they talking about 1%. It's going to be more like 10%, or, since they always lying, 15, 20% fatalities, so that's 10%, of the people that are going to die off. And then, they saying like, basically this is a generational killer. And right, if you've been watching my movies, which is my shows, people, I was saying this before about how they were saying people are not, the young people are not having sex like that. And like people, if we don't fix what's going on, right, and how we think about each other, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all about 1, 2, 3. And just because I say, women are God, it's supposed to be taken into a certain amount of context, but the fire, like if you want to go all the way to space, okay, and beyond, right, the bitch is black, right? So anyway, I didn't mean to get off topic like that. I'm trying to be smart, right? Being smart addictly, being smart addict, sarcastic. But 10%, is more likely that's going to perish, in this vaccine that we're going to get in the next few years. And so just to bring it back to today, the media, I don't know why. I always know why, but like, you got to understand that they are just, because other things are happening, So, they want to put this spotlight on us, dying of it unproportionately or proportionally to white people, because they always want to make white people feel better. You see what I'm saying? It's like, it's only 50 million niggas in this whole world, okay, Craig? And all of us live in America. And so, it's 8 times more than them if us, okay, or 6 times more, or 8 to 6 times, okay. So when you put up these numbers and say, oh, the black people dying more, there's always something else more going on with them, so you don't have to feel so bad, It's like black people on welfare, like nigga, it's like all of y'all on welfare, like all of y'all don't know y'all parents. According to my mama, like most of y'all adopted. And you think about all the orphanages and all the foster care place, it's like, right, the numbers don't add up. You know, it's like you're not, you know, you, right. So now it's like this. Instead of us being, you know, 3/5 of a man and stuff like that back in the day, and you know, they want to count us more now. You know, you want to put up the numbers. 50% of whites is this, but it's 80%. You know, it's 67% of blacks. You know, it's always, you know, even if it's like 52 or you know, it's 56 percent of blacks that's going through this more. Like it's always saying fucking with our numbers, trying to mind fuck us. Like what are you doing? Like what are you talking about here? And so my point is, you know, it's not right or it's not true, you know, and it's not something that we supposed to fall prey to. It's like, and I don't know how to explain it because right, I did write this down. It's like, right, about how people talking about, you know, this could be a good thing. It's like, I see how you niggas was enslaved. It's like, this is how, there's always trying to tell you about how it is, like how we are concentrated, you know, right now in all areas that we live in for the most part, unless you have enough money, you know, you out there sprinkled amongst the stars, you know, amongst the backdrop, of, you know, of the world. In the other areas that people are privy to. But for the most part, we are always concentrated, you know, in a certain area with an invisible fence around it. You know, you can call that redlining, you know, regentrification is just another word for colonization, you know, updated and things like that. So once again, you know, your mind is being fucked with, you know, with the numbers and stuff like that. And like, I don't know why, like, dude put on Facebook, you know, some people somewhere in America, there's about 200 niggas just hanging out. I don't know what they was doing. They weren't doing nothing. But like, this post got like, and it's like 25 minutes of them just doing nothing. The police come and, you know, telling people to go in the house. I guess that was the point of the video, you know, how, you know, a lot of people left, but there's still like a lot of people out there. Like, I don't know where they were because it seemed like a suburb cul-de-sac with a dirt road. But I guess it was like, you know, housing, cause they were talking about apartments and stuff like that. But, you know, the thing is like, they put this up and it's like 400,000 views, you know, of nothing going on this whole time. It's like, you know, but they share this type of stuff, like the type of things that we share, you know what I'm saying, is not beneficial for our state of minds of, you know, getting through this, you know, like, you know, and not thinking that the world is against us as always, you know. And it's like, you know, they put all these little things together to make it seem like a sequence, or to make it seem like, you know, it's more detrimental to us, or, you know, it's more urgent, you know, but the urgency is not going to be reciprocated as far as like, oh, we need to do something now, and we need to, you know, flood the hood with, you know, all of these essential items that we need to take care of ourselves, you know. It's like, and it's like, how are they going? I'm not on this wearing this mask shit, okay? Every fucking where I go. It's like, so you saying that, you know, just in the air, there's just the particles just in the air, and it's like, you know, and it's like, I don't know, right? This is the whole thing you get your ass whooped for, you know what I mean? It's like, cover your mouth, you know, when you're coughing, cover your mouth when you're sneezing, you know what I mean? This is what you get popped in the head for, you know, not doing these things as a child. So as a grown person, you know, I always coughed or sneezed for the most part, unless I'm smoking a blunt, you know, into my sleeve, you know, don't, you know, just not just particles of my DNA floating around in the air for 3 or 4 minutes, you know, after my presence is gone. Like, what the fuck? And it's like, right, somebody put on Facebook, like, you know, you telling me you have no cure for something that can be cured with hand sanitizer and soap, but you have no cure for this. Like, once it get in you, it's different strands, you know, and then see it's go like, Right. What did Jeremy say? It's called COVID-19 because there's 19 different strands. It's like, I don't think that's true. And this is a white boy, so it's like all the different information, disinformation that's being put out there is more dangerous, than even, like, I don't know. Well, nobody's more dangerous than Trump, like, I don't know. Nobody's more dangerous than this man of the free world. Now he want to go to war with the governors again, talking about, he has the power to open and close the states, at his will, absolute power. It's like, I don't know what they told you, but they are incorrect. I have all the power. So we have about 2 weeks to find out, what he's going to do. But what's the fascinating thing that I find in a lot of this is that his numbers and how white people, I'm telling you, right, or I do have a black person to talk about on this, but how white people are sticking behind him and how they say he has handled this, the approval of how he has handled this. And it's like, are we watching the same shit? Or do y'all see the same thing that I see? I mean, I understand that Fox has, most of their attention, but this stuff be on, just regular TV, on your local news, he just every day, right? I mean, this is his re-election campaign that he's doing, while we're in the middle of a pandemic. This is the only reason you see this man every day. And so, it's like, okay. And so he's sitting up there and saying, oh, I'm going to open the country back up, or I'll decide when we do this, it's not up to the governors, and it's, and the company, I already said that, the company that he's pushing, for the lupus and the malaria medicine, that his trust has stocks in this, and I'm sure white people have gone out and brought this stock for this man. And like I said about his approval being still so high, it's like we are, they don't know, they don't care what they say, boys in the hood. It's like, but it's like, these people are not that smart, and this is the whole thing about black people. Like, I don't get, and I kind of do get it, because I used to, like before you work with them, you before you get into corporate and you have to compete with them on a sales level or intellectual level, after school, after high school, or after college and stuff like that, it's like people are just people, you know what I'm saying? Nobody, it's like, it's not even like really being smart, it's like, I don't know, it's like common sense is very important. Like I said before about coughing, without covering your mouth, things like this, these little things, these little trophies, that people, that some of us grew up with, it's here for long, it's given to us for our longevity, and I'm saying that people are following this man. They are not falling off on, on all his shenanigans, and him getting in and him dogging reporters, dogging the free press, dogging the news outlets that all these people grew up watching, and their grandmothers and all this, and he just single-handedly comes by and destroys all of that, and y'all just going along with it. Like, and it's like, you thought that this would be the time people would wake up and say, oh, we done fucked up, okay, November coming, we got to get him out here, Joe Biden, okay, that's fine. But, Republican and Democratic alike, people are losing their families, and these people are still sticking behind him and talking about he's doing the right thing. So, gonna wrap the show up, I guess, right? Oh, I said it's gonna be a longer show anyway, right? Okay, so anyway, I had some car troubles, and so Stu fixed my car I met, And so he was telling me that Trump is getting this country together. he's like all the corrupt Democrats like Hillary, talking about she supposed to go to jail, talking about Obama supposed to go to jail, like he wasn't supposed to be president. Talking about Trump getting everybody together. Gas is down, and I don't know all the things that this man said. It was crazy. But he's a Trump supporter. I mean, to the utmost. And it's like, I guess I should know. Right now, I can't recall everything that he said. But it was very interesting because he kept on talking. I mean, he's talking like, car's done. Thank you. You overcharged me, I think, for what was the problem, but that's fine. No quibbles about that. But now he just want to, so he wants to talk, about Trump and talk and praise this man, how good of a job he's been doing. And it's, about how China, I forgot these, right? He wanted to tell me about Sean Hannity. I forgot the other couple of dudes he said, but he ain't say nothing about Rush Limbaugh though, right? And right, this is what I want to tell all the people that think that I be talking crazy or anything like that. Y'all gotta understand, there's a man called Ernest Amesley. I guess his son is taking over now, talking about he heals people. There's a guy called Rush Limbaugh that has a national radio show that is, the most racist, misogynistic, craziest things that I have ever heard. So get off my back or don't try to judge me, right? And I couldn't stop trying to explain. Oh, that's what I said. I said that, I'm gonna stop acting crazy and just be crazy, and like acting crazy is saying crazy shit then trying to explain it afterwards. It's like, just say the shit, don't explain nothing. That was my original formula. That's what I was supposed to have been doing. So yeah, I guess, that's all I want to say about that guy. It was just interesting. It was like, he's not the only one, right? He's not there are a certain percentage of black people that voted for Trump before. There is even more of a percentage of Mexicans or other brown people, or however that goes, that voted for him, after everything he's been doing, to they people. And so it's so funny, it's a difference of, it's about a mind state, and it's like, are you enslaved or are you a slave? Are you what they call you? Because, being a prisoner of war, there's no shame of that, like, even though Trump said, he don't like heroes to get caught. But, being a prisoner of war is a prisoner of war. It's like I said, it's like, you do the time, don't let the time do you. And I just think that our time is done. I just want to break up, it's like how black people should think about it is, how black women talk about how black men treat them and don't, and the underbelly of our dichotomy of how our relationships go, and me as a whole, it's a whole really always trying to tell women what to do and things like that, trying to play God when you're not God. But it's the same way, how white people treat the whole black race in America. Like I said before, we are they female bitch. Basically, there's no other way to put it, and they whoop our ass and then they make up, with us and say everything is okay, or we started it, or however that abusive shit go, But however that goes, this is how white people treat us, and then when bad times come, then we get even pushed down further to the side, then we just a side bitch. You know what I'm saying? It's like we don't get no love at all. You know, and you found out how they really feel about you in times like this. And that's all I'm trying to say, right? Van Jones, you know, talking good. P. Diddy, you know, everybody got all these questions and stuff like this, right? Everybody just need to join TNC. You know what I'm saying? It's a church for a reason. You know, we can all be part of S1, we RGP. It's a church. And everybody need to be part of Never Ignorant Getting Goals Accomplished. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Oh, yes, right. So we're going to move on. I have ran my mouth enough, caught up with you guys on the little things that I be thinking about in between time. But we're going to move on to something else, and that will be the natural selection. What does that mean? Am I going to talk from my notes, or am I just going to talk from my brain? We'll find out after the break. Be right back. Don't go nowhere. For anybody that's going to be leaving us, I appreciate it. I've been talking for about an hour now. So if you enjoy what I said, send me $1. If you didn't enjoy it at all, send me $2. If this was your first time listening, I appreciate it. Hope you come back. If you never listen again, I understand that also. Will not be offended if you were offended. You can send me $1 at TNC78GRC Cash App. Richard Clemens PayPal, I do believe, is always active. And that'll be about it for now. And so be right back, and you stay right there. Don't go nowhere. Remix, third verse. And that's how it ends. Welcome back, people. it was a break for you, but it wasn't a break for me because I had to sit here and listen to that whole damn song until it came to the third verse so I could put it on so it can be recorded and you can hear it. And now that you have heard it, we are back. We are back. How y'all doing, people? This is Bipolar in Cleveland. I am your host, Richard Clemens. Welcome, welcome. As one, we are GP. We are moving on in this new segment to natural selection because, you know, we live under this system of Darwinism, right? They're not allowed to supposedly, you know, teach religion in school, which they don't actually. You know, they say, you know, it's a bad thing because they have taken God out of school, you know. My only problem with knowledge is that, you know, it is many parts, you know, it's a big pie, and, you know, there's nothing, you know, what I would like from black people is to teach our kids, you know, all of the different cultures and things from the beginning, you know, just from the beginning. You just, you know, teach them. It's like we live, you know, in a world where our kids are taught someone else's religion and history and things like that, and then you guys adopt this and think it's okay, and then somebody like me come along and say some things that I say, you know, you want to call me crazy, shake my ass, you know, you want to call me rebellious, telling y'all to put down them guns and go to the polls. Shout out to Larry Hoover. But anyway, you know, with this natural selection thing, you know, and this Darwinism mindset that we live under. So people, you know, have taken this, and so this is how they think of things. You know, this is why people hunt, you know, when, you know, you got a mama bear and you got, you know, and the, you know, the king of the jungle philosophy and things like this. And so I was thinking, like, you know, if natural selection is true, then like white people not supposed to be in charge, right? Or their time of being in charge is come to an end, you know, and by natural selection, you know, via it being women, because they are the majority, and, you know, right, do animals work like that? You know what I mean? Because, like, it depends on, this is what I'm trying to say, that we are all of them, because how do you know, we jump from associating with ants to, you know, associating with bees, to associating with, you know, tigers, lions, and bears, and all this other shit. It's like, you know, but, you know, we supposed to be the ones that evolved from monkeys. And so, you know, we take on all these other traits, you know, like a horde, you know, like a split, like 23, you know, different personalities, and a 24th is about to come out. But it's like, you know, it's like, so, like, if this was natural selection, you know, then the people in charge will not be in charge. You know, this is what I'm trying to say about, you know, the matrix, simulation within a simulation, the type of thing, or however you want to look at it, is because, you know, as computers, you know, it's about, right, our programming. So, you know, black people, I mean, like, our programming has been corrupted and fucked up, you know, from the thinking to the diet, you know. And so this natural selection they talk about is I don't get, you know, because if we are animals and, you know, we have this natural thing in this, you know, where the strong survives, right? Then why is there always manipulations put into the system? You know, I mean, you know, nature, right? The animal adapts or dies, you know. So I don't want to confuse myself, because, right, it's always, you know, Libra in me, you know, right? Libra with multiple personalities, you know. It's like the other side of me wants to argue while I'm trying to make a point on one side. It should be happening in real life, in real time. I mean, because I'm sit up here. This is where I'm supposed to stick to the notes, right? Exactly. Because I wrote down the argument for that side. It's like being a debater though, because I always thought about it didn't even matter what side. It does matter now that I'm older. I get it, but to argue a lot of things that are not important. It doesn't matter which side that you choose. But I guess you have to know what's important, or everything is not up for debate. You have to choose a side on a lot of things. And it depends on your information. What do you have in your cache of information to make the proper decision. So this natural selection thing, okay, right? And I left the other notes somewhere else. Looking at this shit. So, okay, get the notes. Bring in the Young and the Restless theme song, and I guess the only thing I'm trying to say is that like the animals that they pattern themselves after, or the ones that we come from monkeys, but we're the king of the jungle, and we have how the man wants to be the king of the jungle, but the actual lion doesn't actually do that much. The women do all the killing and everything like that, and then he comes by and be's a bully. After they gotten everything, and it's him and a whole bunch of bras and his kids, and that's it. So when men have tried to do this, it never works out. How that worked out for you? When they do all the work and you come by, and you eat up everything, or you don't help out, how long does that last? You know what I'm saying? Like all of this animal reference that we partake in, I just, this is what I'm talking about. Like I just don't get that part, like we are computers, we are hybrids, we have all of their tactics, and it's not just from studying them. We have this already programmed in us. It's animals or insects and life on this planet that we imitate and emulate, not from watching, but just because it's programmed in us from the beginning. And like I be saying, mentally, we are just stuck in a loop, it's just a ongoing loop, and my point about pointing out the Bible and the Quran and things like that is that the story is not about man, it's not, the story is not, the story that we've been talking about it's not been about man, and that's why it doesn't fit. That's why it doesn't make any sense. And this is why, we live in a crazy ass world, where all the rules, are turned upside down. And we are not benefiting. From this at all. So I'm going to play this little clip and I'll be right back.
Originated in Africa, which means that they were Africans. Then all of a sudden, when you talk about the amazing works of the Egyptians, they were people of color. I know that's a little rough for you to handle, but I know you want to hold on to that somehow, thinking white built the pyramids. But I'm trying to understand. Yeah, we did. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Because first of all, they were building things in Egypt while white Europeans were still in caves. That's a fact. That's a fact.
absolutely proven to be known.
First of all, the greatest genius when it came to the building of the pyramids, do you know what
Those are white people, by the way.
Who are white people?
The Egyptians are not African. I'm sorry.
Do you know where Egypt is?
Yes, it's in
Where?
North Africa.
Many of the early archaeologists came to the study of ancient Egypt and ancient Nubia from the perspective of Semitic languages or the study of the Hebrew Bible, and it was very important to them to bring Egypt specifically into the sphere of biblical studies. And so they had to carve Egypt away from Africa to bring it into that sphere. And the way that they did that was they used race. So these early archaeologists effectively made ancient Egypt white in the sense that they made it part of a dominant Western culture, and ancient Nubia was separated from that. It was black. And this was how they took Egypt out of Africa and put it into this Semitic sphere, this biblical sphere.
And that is also one of the reasons why we are taught that Egypt is not in Africa. Egypt is supposedly in the Middle East. There's no such thing as the Middle East. What folk are dealing with is removing Africans from Africa, removing African history from the story of African people, and assigning it to other people, whether that history is political history, scientific history, or religious history. Our story has been stolen and has been used by others to empower themselves, and that's one of the reasons why we are the most physically, emotionally, economically, and spiritually disenfranchised people on this planet, because we don't know our story. We listen to everyone else's interpretation of us, and all of those interpretations present us at our lowest. So until we can step back and be courageous enough to identify that African that is in us and begin to see the world through their eyes, we will always be inferior to others.
So my point to that would be that that everything comes from where we came from, you know, and so it's the stories that have been taken, you know, and reappropriated, and you know, it's like, you know, stories change, you know, from color to people, you know, from the guy doing it to the girl doing it. You know, to tell the universal stories of people, right? You know, it doesn't matter where you actually come from when you actually, you know, once you know the story, you know. So, but the stories all originate from one place, you know. Big Mama is the mother of all. The role of God will be played by Big Mother. But Big Mama, you know, everybody come from Big Mama, and everything, you know, after the first woman is a variation, you know, to, you know, cause it was, you know, it was women, you know, if you just want to count the first woman, it was still a woman first, then a man, and the man is the variation of a woman. And so, you know, that 1 and 1 made 3, but the variations out of that are endless, right? Because you have to have the first light skinned baby, the first albino, the first white one, the first Chinese, well, they clones. I don't know who made them. They was made long time ago. But like, you know, everything after the woman initially is a variation of that original woman, you know. So that's what I be talking about. And this natural selection thing that we have, you know, we cannot be, you know, we cannot be animals. We can't think like animals. We can't put ourselves in the same kind of category as animals. We don't think like animals, you know. We act like 1,000,000 different or 1,000 different species, you know, put into one, because we have that programming, because we are more computers, you know, more hybrid computer than animal, you know. So if there is a natural selection, right, then, you know, white people are doomed, but it's free will, right? You know, so that makes you not an animal because you choose not to go back to the source. You choose, you know, to be a Mr. Smith and cause havoc, you know, throughout the world because you can't be in charge, you know. And so, like, is this what, you know, now maybe I'm asking more questions than I'm answering. I'm answering right now. But, like, you know, it's the world that we live in, then it's how people, or it's the information, you know, it's how we use the information that we have that's the most important part, you know, because people have all this ancient stuff that I be talking about that y'all think that I might not know what I'm talking about, and I, you know, like, I don't even know half the time, you know, like, if it's, well, I know it's true, but it's like, I know, like, but I haven't seen it all, right? So, like, I'm just going by faith. You gotta have faith, but I know I'm right, you know, because they told me I was right. I was in a room with a genius, and so, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say in all of this is that there's no. Do I want to say there's no natural selection? You know, because, you know, that makes who in charge, like who's the dominant, you know, in this world, you know. And there's natural selection, then, you know, there's no such thing as natural selection, you know. We have a choice, you know. One person can change the world, you know, by being an anomaly, by being the variable, by being the outlier, by being the insurgent, you know, the revolutionary. You know, this is how, you know, the snowball effect comes into play, you know, on good and bad things, you know. And with all the disinformation that we're having in this tragic time, and this time that we, not tragic, but this time that we're living in of change and of what you would call realignment, you know, of things that's going on, you know, and how do we move forward, you know. It's like I said before, people are not going to come out of this thinking smart, you know, thinking that we need to be more humane and be better to, you know, people. It's like, you know, people are going to go to their corners, you know, and our corner, what is in our corner? Like, you know, are all of us in our corner? You know, we have too many corners. We have too many, you know, nuances and things that divide us, and we don't have the numbers to be divided. You know, we don't have the luxury to think, you know, as others think. You know, it is only us. It is only us. I'm the rapper, he's the DJ. I meant to say that about my nigga Joe. I'm the rapper, he's the DJ. But guess I'll be saying what I had to say on that. Right. I don't believe that there's a natural selection, you know, because if that was the case, well, I am king of the north. But, you know, I've seen how people manipulate situations and manipulate people, you know, and turn people against you. Like, I don't know, like, you know, that doesn't work in the animal kingdom. You know, the little scrawny lion is not going to stand up to the big lion or trick all the other lions into you know, going against the big lion because the little small lion is smart or sneaky, you know, or talking to the other lions and conspiring, you know, or talking bad about, you know, like, oh, you know, the big lion be saying this about you. Like, you know, animals don't do that, you know. So, you know, it's like a cop out. Like I said, I keep saying it's a cop out to try to associate yourself with animal thinking and animal tendencies, like a monkey or a lion or a giraffe or a bear. I don't care. You know, all of that shit. You know, we are hybrid, computer-like. And your decisions matter. You know, your programming matters, right? What are you going to pass on? You know, what's your legacy? What are you thinking? You know, it's like this, these things that we have been taught that's incorrect are showing their head at times like this. You know, all this Bible talk, all this, you know, end of the world, and this could be, you know, this could be a good thing, you know, because people, you know, are not being appreciative of this and this and that. Like, all of that shit is bull. You know, like you saw how this shit went down. You know what I'm saying? I watch this man every day. Before, they was warned about this, right? Or they was warned about that back in January, back in December, when I felt like I was sick. You know, I was sick for a long time, for a couple of weeks, or I don't even know how long I was sick, you know. But we didn't know nothing about no stuff that's going on, or you know, what the government, you know, what the intelligence was finding out about this stuff that's happening on the other side of the world, you know, and we can't catch it. Old people dying, or, you know, these people, or now, you know, right now when it was all coming out, now the black people gonna be dying. Now we the most likely, you know, to pass away from this shit. And it's like, the percentage was only, you know, less than 1% or 2%. Now it's gonna be, you know, now it's up. Is growing in numbers because the blacks got it down, like all this bullshit. And so, you know, right, sticking to my guns, no natural selection, you know, our selection is not natural. That's the whole problem with the world, you know. It's not natural, you know. Right, there's more women in this world, so I guess they supposed to be the ones fucking it up. Like I don't know, maybe the peace comes after the women start the war, you know, when they become in charge. It's a cycle though. I guess it's a cycle that we are doomed to repeat, you know, because I'm just playing my part, you know. I can't break the wheel, but, you know, I can take the knowledge that I was given and apply it to my people, you know, in a proper, more context way that applies to us and no one else. Because it's all about 1, 2, 3. 2 is not a winner. 3 and 1, no one remembers. You know, 1 and 2 is always fighting. Nobody remembers the kids, you know. So with that being said, I will let you guys go. I want you to remember that as one, we are GP, and we will get through all of this stuff because this is what we do. Right. We don't act special, so I can't say we special. You know, I can't say that we'll make it because God wants us to make it. Like, that's what Boosie has to talk about. Like, you know, like, God want me here. You know, like, God says. But, you know, this is what I was going to say, like, about, like, people like Boosie, and I will put myself in a category of when you go through a lot of stuff in life, or especially like being in jail or having like these underlying conditions that they say that we have, like Boosie got diabetes, I have what I have. And so like when you face death, or when they say that your life expectancy is not as long as everyone else's, or, you know, there's more dents in your armor, you know, like, you know, you started off, you know, pretty flawless, you know, and then you take some hits and things like that. And so because you are not what, you know, how you used to be or what you used to be, you know, you feel less than and things like that, or, you know, you feel that way also. But you know, the longer you survive, or the longer, you know, you have to live through, the longer you live, you know, it's like, well, you know, the less important some things become, you know, the little things, you know, don't sweat the small stuff, right? My mother told me to read that book I think she sent it to me when I was in jail. But like, don't sweat the small stuff. You know, it's like what becomes more important. And so like, you know, Boosie, like, you know, I'm living on faith, you know, and stuff like that. And it's like, while everybody else is being, you know, overcautious, not, you know, or being more cautious, or, you know, taking it for the seriousness that it is being presented as. You see what I'm saying? You know, some people look at the picture behind the picture, you know, like what is the media saying, and, you know, how are they manipulating the situation. And it's not saying that the situation is not serious, but it goes beyond just, you know, the actual virus and the, you know, the fallout from that, you know, like, you know, all of those things already happened, you know, but now we have to deal with like what's directly affecting us. And as you know, you know, in a lot of situations, we don't even have a choice in having to deal with it. There's nothing that we could have avoided. You know, there's nothing that we did wrong to be in this situation. And then, you know, they make it always seem like, you know, somehow it's your fault. You know, it's, you know, oh, you know, it's how you live, it's how you eat, it's how you do this and this and that. But then you go back to the bigger picture of like, how do I live like this? Why do I eat like this? You know, it's like, so, you know, are we grown folks, or are we the white man's bitch forever? Is this natural selection that we are going to always be under tow, you know, and put in a position where we have to, you know, fight for our lives or fight for our sanity because of other people's decisions and things like that, right? TNC, never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. This has been Bipolar in Cleveland. I am your host, Richard Clemens. I hope that you come back next time. And until then, I will leave you alone. Everybody be safe. 2020 is the year of the rat, so we're all gonna see people, right? And right, the moon and all that other stuff is changing. I think Aquarius and Pisces or something like this is coming into alignment in the next 20 or 30 years. And so the gears gotta get going now. The snowball has to start rolling down the hill at some point. And so unfortunately, people, you guys are trapped in the middle. We are trapped in the middle of the future and the past, right? Days of future past. Shout out to all the X-Men fans out there. They used to call me Wolverine, now they call me Logan. Peace. I'm out.
I'm the bad guy. I'm the villain of the story. Pages turning. I'm the star of the movie.
Oh, if you like what I said, send me $1. If you didn't like what I said, send me $2. TNC78 GRC Cash App, Richard Clemens, PayPal. Working on my new website and things like that, so things can be expedited and more efficient and content oriented, better product, right? All of those type of things, you know, right? Failure to plan is a plan to fail. And I'm out again. Peace.
I'm the bad guy. I'm the villain of the story. Pages turning. I'm the star of the movie. What you was afraid of, the reason that you worry, 'cause I'm the bad guy. I'm the villain of the story. I'm the bad guy. Villain of the story. Pages turning. I'm the star of the movie. What you was afraid of, the reason that you worry. I'm the bad guy. I'm the villain of the story. This is on a premise.